Hello, this is Greg with Juices for Life. I'd like to demonstrate a citrus juicer. And in this particular case, I'm using an electrically powered reamer made by Tribus, or citri-star. And, well, let me introduce you to it. Basically, it's actually a very simple device. Located in the bottom half here really is just the electric motor. The rest of it, all the other parts for it, is right here. That's it. There's just 4 of them. Okay? The top part, we have the reamer here, which I've just lifted off here. This is where we will actually take the literal fruit. And in an old style manual reamer, you'd place it on there and you'd run it back and forth like this to try and extract the juice out of it. In this particular case, there's an electric motor in here. The electric motor is actually going to cause this to spin. So all I need to do merely is to take the juicing item, the citrus fruit, and push it down on top of the reamer, and the reamer will spin. This is actually 2 reamers in one. Pretty clever little setup here. The larger one that fits on the top there is for larger citrus fruit like oranges and grapefruit. The smaller one then can be used for lemons and limes and maybe small tangerines, or in this case I have some cuties here. Okay? And one just sort of snaps onto the other, it interlocks for a nice little fit. Now this sits upon this lower pan here. This pan is composed of 2 parts. It's the juice catcher here. This is the strainer, and the strainer has appropriately sized holes in here to hold back the larger pulp and the seeds especially, and allowing the juice then to make its way through into this catcher drip pan here. The drip pan then has a hole here, and it's angled just right so the juice will actually flow out of that hole. And there's a little spout here to sort of guide it into your container. Now, it just goes together like this. This is the juice pan, the drip pan. How's that? I place a strainer on it like this, and then the reamer goes on top of it. Okay, and then this all sits in place then, right here on top of the lower base with the motor. And now, how it works is you take your container in which you want to gather your juice in, place it below the spout. You take your orange, your juice orange, and you cut it in half. These are Valencias. It's important to get some sort of a juice orange. They basically have very little pulp, a lot of juice per pulp. This here happens to be, for instance, a navel orange. This doesn't work too well. You're really not going to get a whole lot of juice out of this. It's great for eating. You get a lot of pulp out of it, but you don't really get a whole lot of juice. Okay? And I'll give you an example of that in just a moment. So let me take this Valencia here, and I'm going to go ahead and juice it, and we'll see just how fast it takes for this to juice. Now the juicer's a little noisy, so I'm going to not say anything. I'm going to be mute while I'm doing this, okay? But you'll see how fast it is. See that juice pouring out of the spout there. Now you saw how much juice is still coming out. It just came out of just that one orange there. You can actually see the level. I can lift the spout up and actually shut that trickle of juice out of there. And if you look at this, you'll see, oh, I've got actually, it appears to be a half cup out of that one orange. Just that one single orange. Now, watch when I do this navel orange, how much juice doesn't come out. Actually a pretty juicy navel orange, juicier than most. I shut that off, and we can see I got about not even quite 1/3 of a cup out of that. Okay, it did give me some juice, but just not as much, and I'll bet you not as sweet as the Valencia. Alright, let's try a grapefruit. I'll slice this grapefruit in half, And we'll see how much juice we can get out of this grapefruit, and I'm going to leave the larger reamer that's on there. That's a lot of juice. There's a lot of pulp that ends up getting through here as well. And that can sometimes plug up the little chute here, but it seems to be working pretty well right now. Let me take the larger outside reamer off and leave the small one on, and let's try a cutie or two. Whoops. Now that's a 2 gallon, that's a 2 cup measuring cup there, and I just about got it full, I think. That's basically 2 oranges, 2 cuties, and a grapefruit. And I definitely have, let me shut this off, oh, easily over 2 cups there. Over 2 cups of juice. Alright. Let me go ahead and pour that into a glass. I'll probably have to pour it into a mug. There's so much juice here, and I don't know if this mug can contain it all. In fact, we'll see. Oh, wow, that's a lot of juice there. Okay. I have to drink some of it. Very, very good. Okay, there we go. Now for cleanup, very simple and easy. I like to remove all the movable parts here, all the removable parts. And what I do is you just simply rinse off the reamers here. Nothing to it, they rinse off very quickly. Pretty easy. Rinse off and clean. Then I like to get rid of, you'll have to get rid of the seeds and the pulp. I usually scrape that into a trash can. Right now I'm just putting it in the sink. And then have a garbage disposal in here. And then simply rinse off this the strainer here. Okay? Doesn't take much to it. Pretty simple, pretty easy to do. Then I finally take the actual the juice pan here, and I'll pour any of the excess juice. I'll pour that in the glass here. Rinse this out very quickly. Pretty much that's it. I dry it off and I'll reassemble it again. Okay, let's quickly dry this off. Dry the strainer off. Assemble it. Take the reamer, dry that off. Dry the larger reamer off. Interlock the two. Place it in here. Put the top on. And set it aside, and it's just that easy. There you go.